Hello everybody and welcome back to Grenzenlos, your dance podcast. Today we are here with Sophie. Hello. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm gonna do it real quick. So my name is Sophie. I work as a dancer and choreographer. I've been working in the industry for about 6 years now. I also have a bachelor's degree, but that has nothing to do with dance.
That's how we love it.
Yeah, that's just an in-between thing, you know. And I also did an education as a voice actress, so I'm also venturing into this. But mostly and mainly, I'm a dancer and a trainer and choreographer, and love to be in the dance industry.
Nice. Today our topic is to go dancing to LA because you have been there few months.
A year?
Uh-huh. Oh,
it's been more than a year actually. I've been there July and August of 2022, and it's October 2023 now. So
wow,
it was 4 months. So.
No,
yeah, same.
I think I've just fooled everyone because of the video I posted, because that was a few months ago. That's why. Yeah.
Okay, so
interesting.
2022, you said?
Yeah, it's been more than a year.
I did not.
I also did not
get that.
It was last summer.
I also didn't get it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Everyone's confused.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah.
Okay. So before we get into the topic, why LA?
Well, I think the obvious reason is probably that LA is the biggest hotspot when it comes to dance industry, especially commercialized industry or working industry. That's all in LA, I feel like. I mean, in the US. And I think the equivalent to LA for Europe would probably be London. So if you've been to London, I think you probably get the gist already. But then LA is, I think, even a step bigger. So that's why. So that was the obvious reason in a way. And because I mostly dance commercial, that was also kind of an obvious choice. But then, I don't know, it was kind of my dream for many years, and then I turned 18, and then life happened, and I didn't go, and then Corona happened, and I also didn't go, and then at some point I was like, okay, I have to go now, and that's why I went in 2022, and so that was it was also a little dream realization going to LA, I have to say, which was very cute. So that was probably the biggest two reasons, actually.
When did you leave and when did you come back? The whole 2022?
Oh, no. I was there, wait, let me think. I think it was beginning of July until beginning of August. So it was only 4 weeks, a month.
A month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was only a month. And I actually the main reason I went was because I did a program that lasted for 4 weeks. So that was the exact time span I was there, and then everything else, open classes, was the add-on.
Okay, wait, now I got confused. I thought you stayed a year there.
No, I was there for a month.
Okay.
I was only there for a month.
It was a year ago, but you stayed a month.
No, it was a year ago, and I stayed a month.
I thought
exactly.
you stayed a year. That was why I was
that
oh my
that
God.
would have been crazy though.
Yeah, because I saw you in Vienna. Because I was you were not gone a year.
Confusing.
That would have been dope.
Why I was so
though.
confused.
No.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. No.
How did that work? Because I saw it. I was okay, that makes so much more sense.
No, it was only a month, and it was in summer, so no one. It was
everybody's traveling in summer, and you don't really see everything. And okay.
So that's why. Gone for a year.
Okay, my fault.
That would be a nice dream for the future, you know.
Yeah.
But no.
So you're thinking about going there again for a longer?
Yeah, I also wanted to know that.
I would love to go again, but I think
move there.
Oh, moving there, honestly, no. Because I think you guys have great podcast episodes on working in LA with Edith and Lily, and I think they explained so much, which was awesome. And for me, when I was 16, I was always okay, I need to go to LA and I want to work there, But I feel realizing how the job is, I'm fine staying in Europe. Also getting a visa, I feel it's super, super hard. I think Ada talked about this anyways. Expensive too, exactly. Yes. And also living-wise, I think we're going to get into this anyways, but even being in LA for 4 weeks was kind of eye-opening regarding the living situation and how privileged we are in Europe. So I was yeah, so I think Europe is it for me, but staying there for training, I think the maximum you can go with the visa is 3 months.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. 3 months, I think, is a fine time span. But everything else, you would have to get a different visa. So, yeah. But going back, definitely, at some point. Yes. But no, I was there for a month. Someday, yes.
And did you like plan the whole journey, or was it a spontaneous thing?
No.
When you say you already like thought of it years ago.
Yeah, I thought of it so many times. And then I think even when I was 18 and wanted to go, I think I felt too young. I was like, I can't go, it's too young. And then I talked to someone a few months ago, and I think he's 16 and he just went like with some friends, and I was like, this is crazy. I would have never had the guts to go at 16.
My parents would have been like,
yeah, that too.
Yeah,
that as well.
You know, my parents have already been, I'm 19 and I went to Peru alone. My parents were like, they let me go, but
are
they
you
were like,
crazy?
What the fuck? You know how like dangerous it is. And I'm like, oh, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. So like, you know, they would not have let me with 16. Like going alone to like, especially America, because we know how America is. You know,
True.
It's different to Europe.
Even with friends, I don't think they would have let me. Like maybe older friends, but not friends at the same age. Like if we're all 16, I don't.
Friends they know, yes, but friends they don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah. I think it depends. But I was 23 when I went, and I was still like, ooh, I'm a little scared, you know, but I think that's why it took me so long to book the trip, actually. Because, yes, I planned in advance, but I booked the flights, I think, beginning of June, and I went beginning of July.
Oh.
So that was fun.
But they were more expensive then, right?
Yes.
The closer it gets. Yeah, okay.
That was also because I did this program with a choreographer. She's, her name is Kat Brendig. I don't know if you know her. She's like a heels dancer, mostly, but also jazz funk, whatever. And I did programs with her online while the pandemic was going on. And then I was like, okay, once the pandemic is over, I have to go to LA and like do it in real life. And she released dates on the program beginning of June, so I had to wait to see when the program is gonna take place. And then I booked flights. Yeah, so that was fun. And then everything else, I also tried to plan, but as I said, it was beginning of June. So also regarding apartment hunting, transportation, I mean, booking classes, that's the least of your concern, I feel like. But especially apartment and like transport is too big and fun things to think of. But yeah, I tried to plan as much as I could, but it was kind of hard because you also just don't know about a lot of stuff. Like I was thinking going to a studio, and I knew they were all sort of split somewhere. So I was like, how do I get there? Do I have a car? Where can I park? It's just random things. Because here you take the tram, you go to a studio, it's all good.
But you don't have them there?
No.
You don't take public transfer at all, right?
No, I don't think so.
Do that.
No, I mean, I think you could,
but
like,
it's not safe, right?
Yeah, not super safe. I never took public transport though, I have to say. Yeah, that was fun. But I also didn't have a car.
Or like...
Yes, I went with Uber sometimes. But I also went with Lime a lot, like the e-scooter. Yeah. That was fun. And it's so crazy because you're in the like huge streets of LA and cars are huge as well, and then you drive with your little e-scooter.
I'm already so scared doing it in Vienna. I actually never did that.
No, never gonna do that.
Like all the cars, because I'm also, if I'm driving a car, I'm also annoyed from people who like take a bicycle or whatever. So I'm like, I know people are gonna be annoyed at me as well. So I'm like,
for sure.
Totally.
Yeah. I think it was even better in LA because you have a little bit more space, so it's not that bad. Okay. But if the car drives you over, I'm like, better not. Yeah, that was fun.
But you were completely alone, or did you know somebody there, or was like?
I traveled alone. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna go alone. But I knew people from the online program because most of them were in LA actually. Like I think we were like 20 people for the first program. And there were 4 people that weren't from the US. And then out of those 16, I think 14 were from LA. So they all sort of knew each other, and I only knew them from Zoom, which is not knowing people, but it was kind of knowing people.
Knowing from seeing.
Yeah, knowing from seeing from a laptop. But the voice, okay. Okay, we're back. So I knew those people sort of kind of, but I didn't know anyone like personally. That no. I didn't have anyone where I was like, okay, I met you face to face once, but that didn't happen. Yeah, but as I said, kind of, and I mean, I also knew that Edith was gonna be there, or probably was gonna be there. Yeah. So I was like, okay, at least like one person. You kind of know.
Person just in case somebody.
yeah. So I knew that. I was like, okay, one person. Yeah. So that was fine though.
And when you say like program, what kind of program was that?
Oh, it was
because I thought you just went there and took classes and everything.
Yeah. I mean, that was what I did most of the time. But then I also had this program, and it was basically, I think we had training twice a week, Tuesday and Thursdays, and it was 4 hours every morning-ish. And then at the end of the program, we did like a video project, which was fun. That was kind of cute. So we just trained a lot. Like we did a lot of yoga, Pilates, warm up across the floors, technical across the floors as well. And then we trained choreography. So we did heels and jazz funk. That was the main 2 things. And then for the video, we also did a heels choreography actually. Yeah. Yes. But that was
not completely cool. A heels program. Or
no, it wasn't completely heels. No, it was jazz funk and heels, mostly from like style wise. But as I said, we also did like yoga, Pilates exercises, and some technical jazz across the floor. So yeah, but that was just from the choreographer herself. So it was a mixture of all the things, which was good though. Yeah, yes, but it was very nice to hold on to, because I was like, okay, I have a program each week, and it's gonna be Tuesday and Thursday, and everything else was open to me, like to do whatever. But at least I had these 2 times a week where I was like, okay, I have to go there and be there, and get to know people also. Yeah.
You already told us that you traveled alone.
Yes.
Was that like your intention? Do you wanted to go alone, or was your thought also one time maybe with another person, a friend?
I think, well, I actually always wanted to go with a friend. Like, I was talking to a very close friend of mine all the time about going to LA together. I think we talked about it before Corona even. And then I think with the program, it's a little more complicated than this. Let's put it like that. It's kind of hard. I don't know, you probably also know this, but sometimes you just want to do things without waiting for anyone, right? Like you just want to do it without planning and always talking to someone, being okay, can we do this together? Like it just takes more time. It also takes more effort sometimes. Even if it's your best friend and planning is super easy, it's still harder than to do it alone and be like, okay, I'm just gonna book flights, and then you booked your flights and you're good. And then since I wanted to do this program, I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to go at this specific time. Like I'm gonna need to go in this time frame. And since I booked everything so late, I was like, okay, it's sort of impossible to now ask someone to go with me, because they wouldn't book a flight that's that expensive. So yeah, since I booked the flight so late, I was like, I'm not gonna ask anyone, because they probably don't wanna buy a flight that is this expensive if they eventually don't even want to do the program, or it's not their main objective. Like I was very into doing this, so I was like, okay, I want to take part in this. And so there was so little time for me to plan. I was like, okay, I'm not going to get another person involved. So at the end of the day, it sort of all came together, and I was planning to go alone, so that was fine. I could have gone with a friend for sure, but maybe at a different time. And I'm planning to, I would go with a friend in the future as well, for sure. But I also think it's interesting to go alone. I think it opened myself up to different experiences.
It's also kind of a challenge.
Yeah, totally. Yes, because I feel like you can't just panic at the first sign of something. You can. I definitely did, but I think it's very different. I mean, that's just a personal thing as well, but from experience, I know if I'm alone, I'm panicking way less, because I know it's not gonna get me anywhere. If I panic now, but I'm all by myself, like it doesn't help me. I would need to get out of the situation anyways, and I could always call my parents up or like be like, hey, I need help, but I'm on the other side of the planet, so the first thing, I stepped out of the plane, and I had to get a taxi to get to my place, like the place where I stayed. And it was so weird, because I had a little internet thingy, whatever. It didn't work first time, even though I tried it, whatever. And normally with someone else, I would probably panic and be like, oh my God, this doesn't work. And then the other person would need to fix it or something. But with this, I was like, okay, you just got to stay cool now. You're going to ask someone, they're going to call someone for you, they're going to call you a taxi, whatever. It was a complicated thing. And Uber also wasn't an option. It was very complicated, whatever. But obviously, I managed the situation because there was no way around it. Like, I couldn't just have stayed at the airport and be like, oh my God, I'm never going to find the apartment. Like, that was not an option. So I was like, okay, gotta fix it. And then it took some time, and then I fixed it, and then it was fine. Yeah. So
it's so fun because that's always a thing I think that people forget. Like, if you go onto another country, another continent, oh my God, another continent, you don't have internet. And in Europe, we're so privileged because we have Wi-Fi everywhere, like, you know. And it was the same for me in Peru. It was like, I felt like a child that people need to take care of. Yeah. Because I never had like internet. They could never leave me alone because I can't even use Google Maps. Yeah. Like, if they leave me somewhere, I'm lost. I can't call people because obviously I also can't call people without internet. So it's like it's actually really sad how lost we are without our phones. Yeah. But you know, at this point, it's like, I think like traveling alone. And I don't know if you looked up before, but like getting with your contract you have here, getting Wi-Fi abroad is really expensive.
Oh yeah,
it's so expensive.
Yeah. You need to get it there so that it's like cheaper and everything. Yeah. And that's like definitely a thing you need to think about before, because you can't even call your own taxi, because I had the same thing, because people always had to call taxis for me. And in the taxi, I had no idea where this person is gonna take me, because they weren't speaking my language, you know. So I was like, oh no, I spoke their language, but they were not like. I could not speak with them, you know? So it was like, so I totally get that. Yeah. But,
internet search is a whole different thing. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, solo traveling. But I actually think it brings out a lot of interesting things, actually. And it also forces you to, you know, make connections, talk to people, make friends, and like, not friends, but like at least get to know people. I think if you're traveling with someone and you're in this little bubble, you rather stay there, obviously. So that was interesting. Challenging is a good word, yes. But yeah, also very fun. I was also I have to say, I was kind of proud of myself for just, you know, surviving in a way. Like, just, you know, I mean, like that, it is what it is. It's like, it's still America. It's still like, you know, a country where I wouldn't be like super scared, or where it's not that different from Europe, probably. Yeah. But still, I don't know. It's still different. Sometimes I think about the things I did there, and I was like, oof, that was a little dangerous, probably. You know, walking the streets at 12 at night.
Did you do that?
Yeah, for sure.
And no horror stories from people being alone dancing in the lane, then something happened to them, and I'm like.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh my goodness.
That's why. And I mean, I lived in.
But you didn't know about it, right?
I did. Well.
But you just think.
No, but I don't know. I
didn't care. Whatever. No, it won't happen to me.
For example, I was, for the first part of my journey, I was switching apartments. So for the first 2 weeks, I was living in an apartment of a dancer, and she was actually on tour with someone, so I could live in her apartment. It was gorgeous. Stunning apartment. I don't know. I came in, I was like, I am so freaking lucky, because I had this whole apartment all to myself. It was beautiful. I felt like I was like in Vienna, in my own home. So that was nice.
Sweet.
And that was in North Hollywood, and most of the studios are located in North Hollywood. So T. Millie is there, Millennium Dance Complex is there. What else is there? This 88 Studios, I think it's called.
Movement Lifestyle also in that area?
I don't know, because when I was there, Movement Lifestyle wasn't open.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't have that. I think there was another studio that wasn't open while I was there. So I only had but I had T. Millie, Millennium, this 88 Studio, which was pretty new at that time, I think. And then, I don't even know. Playground is somewhere else. That was a little further away. You had to go by car from the place I lived, at least. So it was walking distance. Like for Vienna, it was walking distance. You know, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to walk 15 minutes. It's not that bad. But you just walk a straight line, and it feels super far because it's like just a big street, but you walk, and then you're there. So at night, I was always like, okay, now I'm going to walk back, because what else would you do? Yeah, so I walked back, you know, past the the tents and all, which is not nice, which is very sad actually. But but I'm lucky. But that's why I said sometimes I think back and I'm like, well, might have been a little dangerous, but you know,
it's another thing that we're like actually not really appreciating in Europe. I think. Because, like, I was also in Peru, like, oh, it's only 15 minutes, let's walk. And people were like, you are not gonna walk alone. Yeah. I was like, hey, why not? It's just around the corner. They were like, we're gonna call you a taxi. And I was like, you know, it's so weird because we're used to, like, we can walk everywhere. Yeah. We can they don't take public transport. They go everywhere with taxi. So it's like, for us, it's like, I always take public transport. Yeah, you know? For sure. Yeah. I walk alone at sometimes 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. Later, 3 a.m.
Yeah, as well. But you know, like going home from classes or whatever, like I'm walking alone home, and it's like completely normal. Yeah, and there it would be like so weird, and that's like we're not really appreciating that because that's not the norm in the rest of the world. Actually,
I also didn't know that before you went to Peru. Honestly speaking.
Yeah, and I still can't really realize it because I don't understand.
Because we don't know it.
We don't know of course they told me don't do it, it's dangerous. But you also did not feel like in danger while you did it. Me neither. All the people there were so loving and so nice. Yeah. I did never feel like in any way that I'm like in danger. Yeah. But like obviously I trust them if they say don't do it. Yeah. They know better than me because I grew up here. I know our culture. I don't know their culture. Yeah. Not as well, you know. So, but it's like so weird for us. And they were like the other way around. They're like, oh, like you can drink your water from the tap. They're like,
oh yeah. Oh my god.
We don't go with 2-liter bottles into our tap. We don't do that. We just drink the water from the it's this little stuff. Yeah. But yeah.
Water is like my number one thing though. Wherever I travel.
Could you drink water from the tap?
No, obviously not. No.
I don't know that. I don't know that. I never thought about it. Like,
I don't think I just don't think people do it, but no. I don't know. I never tried.
You did not do this one, right?
No. I never tried. I am not gonna try. I'm just gonna buy the water. Yeah, but that's number one thing. I feel like wherever you travel, even in Europe, I'm like, number one thing to stay in Vienna, water. Tap water. I'm like, I'm not gonna carry another 6 thingy of water. That's huge privilege.
Another thing, huge. How did you experience food over there? Because you know, Edith told us it's like a lot of fast food and like I don't know if you're like vegetarian, vegan or whatever.
Yeah, vegetarian.
But you're as well? Okay. That it's like not that easy over there. How was it for you?
Honestly,
or like expensive. She said it was expensive. It's expensive.
It is expensive. I mean, I was the first 2 weeks where I stayed in the apartment. I obviously had the possibility to cook, so I tried to do that, which also had some mishaps.
Okay, now I want to hear the story. What happened?
It was actually, I don't know why someone left me like going to LA alone, but whatever. No, at one point I was like, okay,
you wanted to.
I wanted to go, but I was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna buy potatoes and I'm gonna make like potato wedges, chips, whatever. Okay. Yeah, because I do that at home all the time. I buy potatoes and I cut them and then put them into the oven. Okay, and I feel like my whole host of the apartment, like the dancer, she doesn't cook that much, is my feeling, but I obviously don't know. But she told me about all the appliances and she told me how to use them, etc., etc. But for example, I don't have a microwave, so I mean, I can look at it and try to use it, but whatever. Okay.
Me too. I have problems with that. Yeah. I can't use them.
And then why even was that? I don't know. One night I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna make the potatoes. So I opened the oven and I think she did not have a, I don't even know what's it called. Backblech.
I also have no idea. The thing you put into the oven.
Like the tray for the oven. Yeah. Oven tray, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I don't think she had that. So I was like, okay, that's a little tricky. She only had the silver kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was like, good. And I thought about it. She obviously also didn't have like baking paper. Like, also wasn't there. Okay, so I was like, how am I gonna do this? So I ended up, oh my god, I can't even tell this because we're talking in English now. I hope she never hears this. So I ended up cutting the potatoes anyways, and I was like, okay, I can probably do this in the microwave somehow. And I googled it, and I was like,
Oh my
Amazing.
God.
They were still raw, I didn't even cook them before. I was like, I can do this in the microwave. Yeah, and then I put them on, I think I put them on a table, on a plate, because they were microwave safe, so that was fine. I put it on a plate and put oil on it, whatever, and then I put it in the microwave. Okay, first round was fine, they were still yellow, but whatever, but it was fine. And then I turned them off and put them back. And I turned on the microwave for a longer time span, because I was like, okay, they have to get, like crispy-ish at least. I'm like, oh. And then I think like 3 minutes into microwave time, I suddenly am like, it smells kind of interesting. Because I was sitting on a sofa and the kitchen was right here, but the sofa was here. It smells kind of interesting. And I see smoke coming out of the microwave. And I was like, fuck my life. Because I don't know, I this was like an apartment complex. So there's probably like fire alarm thingy on the ceiling. And I was like, that sucks. So ran to the kitchen, opened the microwave, then I had to open the balcony window, which was fine, and then I also opened the door, like the front door, so it could, the smoke could move through the whole apartment. And I was so scared the fire alarm is gonna go off, because then, I don't know, I think they sprinkle the apartment. Like, that was my thought. I was like, in America, as far as my knowledge goes, they're gonna sprinkle the apartment with water. Oh my God, I panicked. Worst night, not gonna lie. Okay, and then the smoke, there was so much smoke, actually. I was like, it's just potatoes. The plate was black.
Potatoes in the microwave.
The potatoes were black. Everything was, like, done. But I managed, and that was fun, I managed to clean the plate so it was back to its original color without any stains. It took a long time, but I actually cleaned the freaking plate. Yeah, and that was fun. I avoided a crisis. I avoided the fire alarm going off, but that was very scary. And yeah, it took me some time to tell my parents and my friends, because I was like, guys, that was a bad, like a dumb moment out of the whole trip. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
But it was to end the story. It was fun.
It was fun. Like, in retrospect, it was fun. Imagine, because the fire department was actually on the other corner. Like, the apartment complex was here, the fire department was here, so they wouldn't even had a long way to go.
But still, you don't want to, like...
No, obviously, don't.
Yeah.
Even imagine. I mean, yeah, no, that was a no, but that was a no moment.
Wouldn't have been fun without it, right?
Exactly. In retrospect, I also think it's very fun. Now I like to tell the story, but in the moment, it was a little. Yeah.
After some months, you're gonna laugh about it.
Yeah, I think so too. And now it's been over a year, so it's yeah. But that was it. How did we get here? I don't even know.
I asked you about food.
Yeah, food.
That's why.
But food was. That's why. In short, yes, I think there's a lot of fast food, because it's also way less expensive. Obviously, like if you go to even In-N-Out is not expensive in comparison to actual food. So if you are prone to go there, yes, there's a lot of fast food. If you cook, I think it's fine. I think groceries are a little more expensive, but that's not hard, because I feel like groceries in Austria are pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you can manage. I mean, it depends on what you like, honestly. Yeah, and for 4 weeks, it's fine. But I also, besides from water, appreciated the groceries we have in Austria in comparison. Yeah, but it wasn't that bad. Yeah, except for the potatoes.
Yeah. I'm gonna love it.
How was your first impression when you took classes? Like, what is the difference to Vienna?
Oh yeah.
What are the vibes?
Let's roast our scene.
Yeah, let's roast it. Oh no, I would never. I feel like that's so sad, but we'll get there. But no, I would never roast our scene, because I actually think the Viennese dance scene is great. But yeah, I'll get there. So first impression of classes. I think. Well, once I landed, I came to the apartment and the jet lag, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then the thing is, I'm also I think a lot, too much. I think too much, that's the point. And I was actually pretty scared of taking a first class, because I was like, oh my god, what if the level is way too high and I can't take classes? Like, I'm gonna go out of the first class and it would be horrible because it's so hard, and then I wouldn't be able to take any more classes. That was my thought. So I think the first time I went to a studio was actually for the program, because I landed on a Sunday, I think, and the first day of the program was a Tuesday. So I had like 2 days to sort of, get back to life after everything. And so I went to the studio, and the program was at T-Milli. So that was also the first time I saw the studio, which is also always interesting.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Because you think so much of these studios, like, just looks wise.
Like our thing here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We just talked before when Sophie came here. She was like, oh, it looks so different. Like, in the videos, everything looks so much bigger, but your flat is actually really cute. Like,
super cute. I never questioned it to be cute, though. I was just like, it looks so different. Yeah. But that's the exact same thing. It's super cute. Like, all these studios look cute, but then they're kind of smaller than you imagined, and then you just look behind the magic. I think that's like the whole thing. You look behind the Instagram video, and you're like, this is what real life is, but it was actually pretty comfortable. Like, T-Milli in general was a very cute, comfy kind of studio for me personally. And then we had the program, and I knew that the program was going to be intense because I knew that the choreographer was only going to take like people who have like pretty advanced level in dance, and who are like also working professionally in LA, which is different to working professionally in Austria, obviously. So that was interesting, and I think I was pretty aware of how everyone is very good, and I have to live up to this. But that was very nice, and the group was super sweet. The people were super sweet. All the dancers, we were just a group of girlies, and it was, as I said, it was really super, super sweet. Like, they were all very nice. But it was also intimidating, not gonna lie. Especially because you also saw some of these people on Instagram before, and I was like, oh, this is this person, and this is this person. And obviously they don't know you, because why would they care about someone from Austria, That was crazy, but yeah, also very fun. And I also felt very lucky to be in this group and to be able to train there, because the choreographer knew me from the online programs. Yeah, and then I finally took an open class. I don't even know. But my first class was Kira Harper heels in the 88 studio, because that was the closest to the apartment. And I went there, and it was funny because before class I heard which song she was gonna do, and she did choreography to "He Loves Me." I don't know if you know that song. It's pretty slow. But it was a pretty...
Maybe when I hear it.
Yeah, I think once you hear it, you definitely know it. But it was a pretty popular video. And I actually had it in my archive on Instagram. And I always wanted to learn the choreo. And then I went to this class. It was an older choreo. It wasn't like a new one. And I went to class, and then I heard she's going to do this song. And I was like, oh my god, it's so meant to be. And then I felt better. And then I went to class, and it was all good and all fine. Yeah, so the vibe in class for me was very nice, actually. I think people often think it's very competitive, which I guess it is. But for me personally, it wasn't, because no one knew me. So, they don't care. They don't, like other students, they don't necessarily see you in that way because they don't know you. So they just think, okay, you're here to train, as we all are. But yeah, we know how things are. And I also cared less, because I was like, no one knows me here. If I fuck it up big time because I just don't have the pickup for this, who cares? They don't know my name. They probably never gonna see me again. So that's something if you go train internationally, I think that's often the case. But for me, that made the vibe very relaxed, actually, and very nice. Because I was like, you don't have to pressure yourself. No one else is. If you do good and someone picks you or someone says something, that's great. And if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't. And it's fine. And you still obviously trained and learned something. So, yeah. So I think it's nicer than most people think. Because I have the feeling that some would probably be scared that it's very competitive and very, I'm not comfortable. But since you're not in the scene there, I don't think it's that way.
I think, I don't know, like unpopular opinion here.
Hit it.
Like, I don't know, out of my experience, because I didn't know anything different than Austria. I think, and now I've seen like 3 countries, like still I could like have more experience, I know, but like obviously. So I think like Austria, we're really good in pressuring ourselves.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I don't know what it is, because we're all nice, we all understand, we all know, you know.
Yeah.
But I have the feeling sometimes we in our scene here, we have a little vibe that is like pressuring. I don't know, not pressuring, but pressured. But like everybody puts the pressure on him herself. It's not somebody else that puts pressure on you. But we all think we have to pressure ourselves, or we have to do something, we have to be somebody, but actually we don't, because we're fucking training.
Yeah.
You know, and it starts to feel much more like how you described your training in LA.
Yeah.
It should feel the same here.
It should, yeah.
Because you should not be in the position, oh, I need to show people something. Yeah. Because obviously you're good in your thing. You might be shitty in a new style, obviously, because you start a new style, but you're gonna get better then. It's a most
That's
normal
how it
thing
goes,
ever.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know, I have the feeling here people are like, if you want good in one thing, you need to be good in everything. And then the pressure starts. But that's like my...
No,
that's actually true.
Like, you can disagree.
No.
No, okay.
I mean...
You know, but I have the feeling nobody talks about it, kind of.
Yeah.
But... I don't know, I think it doesn't have to be like that. We all know how it is to struggle. It's totally fine.
We all know how it is to like, even just train. You don't even necessarily have to struggle at it, but also just, I don't know, like, going to a class where you actually know the style. Commercial. Let's say it's commercial, because that's the easiest for me to relate. Going to a commercial class, but still finding out which pocket I could use for this choreo, which dynamics I could use. Yeah. That also takes training, you know, and that also takes rounds of me dancing where it may look like too much or too little, because I'm trying to figure out where to go with this choreo. Yes. And that's not even me struggling because of pickup, or because I don't know the style, or because I don't know the movement. That's just me training, which is the main point, you know. But I very much agree. I think the question would also be like, what's the difference to Austrian dance scene? I think it's hard because we all know each other, you know?
Yeah, but that should make that, like, yes. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you should. No, it's totally fine.
Yes, but at the same time, we do know each other. We know that, for example, commercial's your thing. Yeah. Hip-hop is somebody else's thing. Afro is this person's thing, you know? Everybody has his or own thing, and it's totally fine if the other thing is not your thing, but you still train it or whatever. Like, you know, we know each other's strengths. Yeah. And might also know each other's weaknesses. And we do know each other, but that could also be such a loving and close space to grow together and train together and like share and open up and, you know, teach each other. Yeah. Than competing with each other. That's true. It could be so different. Yeah. And okay.
Yeah. No, I totally
get it. Whole separate topic you could talk about like an hour.
Yeah. No, but the thing, I mean, as you said, to put it short, yes, I also think the way I felt in LA, or I also feel in different countries, depending on the country you're in, or wherever you're training, should feel the same way in Austria. I think it also depends on the person. Maybe that's why we also agree. There may be people out here that train in Vienna who are like, oh, I don't feel that way. You know, I don't notice that. Yeah.
I think it depends on your own person.
Yeah, definitely.
What's your mindset?
Definitely.
Because I felt a lot of pressure before I went to Peru. I felt a lot of pressure here. Mm-hmm. And now that I've been to Peru and now I came back and I saw how people act there, I'm like, oh, I don't care anymore here. I'm just training. Like, you know? Like, I think it's like, it changed my mindset seeing how other people, how their atmosphere is. And now I'm like, I put my mindset differently to approach our scene here now. Yeah. So I think it's like, it depends on the person, so it makes sense that some people might have it, might not, or whatever. But I don't know, I think it's like the awareness that could be like better about it.
For sure.
Because if you don't have the awareness, if you never see differently,
then you obviously don't know. Yeah.
Because you think like, oh, competing with each other and being like side-eyeing or whatever, that's a normal thing you do in the dancing, you know? Like if you don't know different, how should you?
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, for sure also do this in LA. Like if you ask someone who's lived there or who's working there, I'm sure it's the same way, because they also compete for the same jobs. They want to have the same obviously they work in the same industry. I think it's very much the same. But that was my privilege coming in as an outsider, at least, is to be like, hey, I don't care about this. And also, and I think that's the key thing that you also said, it's all about yourself. Like my mindset coming to LA, since I told you I was scared of even, going to classes thinking it may be too hard, my mindset was, I'm not going to stress myself because it doesn't make sense. I know people there are going to dance way better because they trained for longer. They trained with these teachers. That's also something. If I train with someone for years, obviously that's different to someone taking class with someone for the first time. Same in Vienna, obviously. If you've trained in the same studio your whole life and then you're going somewhere else and you're taking class from someone else, it's going to be different. It can still be hard. It could also be easy because it's nice, but sometimes it's also just hard, and that happens. And my mindset for LA was, I'm not going to stress myself because I know they're all going to, most of them are going to be better. Same with the program. I knew they were all training in LA for so long. How would I compete? Yeah. They're also, some of them were also used to the style of the choreographer who did the program. I did it online, but that's a different story. And some of them were working with her, so I was like, okay, and that was the first time I was actually also fine with not being amazing, because I'm very perfectionist and I always try to strive, to be amazing and great. I think that's also a creative sickness in a way, like everyone who works in a creative department has that sort of issue sometimes. But I knew I wasn't close to being a strong dancer in this program, but I was fine with that because I was there to train, and I was noticing that I just had a different position to people who were training there for years. And that's something you have to consider. In general, also going to LA, going to open classes, I think you would need to have a little grace with yourself and be like, hey, I'm doing this for the first time, I'm in new studios, it's a very different environment in general, new people, new teachers. That's it. And then you train.
So, I would want to know, how is the class there structured?
Well, I think it depends, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same as here. It depends on the style and also the teacher. Obviously, some are warming up, some are actually not warming up. They just tell you, okay, I'll give you 2 songs and you warm up for yourself. I think that's also a thing in London a lot of times, that you warm up yourself. With heels, it's always a little different. Most people warm up with heels class. And then, they just teach choreo, basically. With heels, we also did across the floor. But I think that's also a little different. Commercial class and heels class is always a little different. But for the most part, you learn choreo. They teach a lot faster. That's the difference for sure. Whew. First time I came into one class, I was like, wait, that's gonna be fun.
Okay. With the length of a choreography.
Yeah.
In seconds. How much of choreography do they do? That's
that's our thing now.
I think I talked about this in 3 episodes already. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry to bring it up again for everyone that already heard it. How here in Austria do 30 seconds of choreography in 1.5 hours? How much do they do in LA? In your experience, obviously it's gonna be different in each class.
What? Well, it depends. If you're there for the first round, they do a little less. If you're there for the round they want to film, it's gonna push it all in. I think it's a minute, but it also, it depends on the music. It depends how fast it is. Because I had a teacher who was one of my favorites, actually, even though I didn't know him before coming to LA. And his choreo was so fast. And then sometimes he would do so much choreo and I wouldn't die, but for sure it was a minute or something, but it was so fast, so it felt like 2. And then sometimes he would also just chill, and try to focus on a smaller part and try to really work on it, or everyone would be clean, So I would say it's more than in Austria.
A minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it depends on the class you get to, honestly.
Yeah, obviously, it's like always depending on the song.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting, because in Peru, it doesn't matter which round.
Always the long.
It doesn't matter which round they do. The longest I did in Peru in 1.5 hours were 1:24.
Oh, that's a lot.
That was fucking a lot. But the video isn't even that bad. Like, you can see
my face. Oh, you even took a video?
I even posted it.
Wait.
Like, you can see, it's like a yellow video on my Instagram.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
It looks okay, but you can see my face. I'm like, I have no... Like, you know when you're an autopilot, you're just doing it, you know? And you can see that in my face. But I was like... I went there, was like, damn, like 1 minute is like normal. I was like, the fuck?
Yeah. No, that's crazy. That's true.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is, and that's why they could also do it, is obviously because people there are used to it. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty normal, you know, after...
pickup is different than ours.
Yeah.
Our pickup is really slow. When I came back, I was only in Peru for 2 weeks. It was not a lot, actually, but I came back, and I love our classes here, but everything seemed so slow to me.
I get that, yeah.
So slow.
Yeah.
Even though it's like normal, it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it seemed so slow to me, because they're like so...
True.
I don't know how to describe it differently, but you know.
No, I get it. No, they just push through.
Yeah.
It's they don't even ask, you know, should we do more? They just go for it. But I mean, that's the purpose of training. Again, like, that's how you grow. And I also felt like when I came back from LA, I was like, I felt better to conquer choreos here, because I was like, hey, you did this 1 minute in LA, you can do this here, you know, like, don't go back to this old thinking. You're like, my pickup was good enough for LA, so it's good enough for Vienna as well. You can do this thing. Yeah, but that was nice. But I also think that goes away fast. Like, it's been over a year.
Yeah.
And then,
you know, like,
you lose it again.
I'm already like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's different.
And you lose it again. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, but that's good.
But it's
also
nice
good
to
know.
That you have that as well. Because I felt like, why is my pickup so shitty? It was better. Like, how did I do this 1:24?
Yeah.
And now I can't even do this 40 seconds.
Yeah, but that's a good lesson to see.
You know?
Yeah, but that's so that's how you also see that it's really just a thing of learning and the process of learning, and that you can actually do it. It's just your brain.
But I think you also focus differently if you're somewhere else.
Yeah,
if you train here, you're probably used to you're used to the people, you're used to maybe fooling around with the people, but it's like really nice and loving to have like a nice atmosphere, you know. But if you're somewhere else, you generally, like, you know, I always call it vacation brain, you know, because if you're on vacation, your brain is like experiencing everything even more, because you look at everything around you in a much more aware way. Yeah, for sure. And I think it's the same with dance, because I think maybe we're focused a little bit more, and we're like, our mindset is different. Yeah. And we maybe because we put less pressure on ourselves, it's even easier to process for our body, for our brain and everything. So I think that's like all coming together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So also that's also where solo traveling comes in, because after I started the program, I met some of the girls in other classes, and I was like, hey, we know each other, and that was fun and cool. Mm-hmm. But for most of the classes, I was also just alone, you know, it was just me in class, and I said hi to people, and it was fine, but I didn't know anyone, so it was just me focusing on me and class, and I don't know, both is fun. It's great to know people and to have fun and to talk to someone, but it's also fun to just be for yourself and focus and be like, okay, I got this is class, let's go. Was it easy to make friends in the dance in LA? Like, are people open that they come to you and talk to you? Oh yeah, I feel like, due to the program, that was pretty cool, because I sort of had to, you know, get to know people. But like in the classes but in the open classes, yes, you could also talk to people. I think it depends on the person you are. If you're very open and outgoing, obviously it's even easier to make friends. The funny thing is that teachers actually come up to you. That's interesting, because I feel like that's barely a thing in Austria. Oh my god, yes. But there, you know, there was still Corona sort of kind of, so you had to leave class pretty quickly, and you had to go out, like actually outside. And then the people would sit there, and the teacher would actually like go to every person sitting there waiting for the next class or whatever, and would be like, hey, good job, thank you for coming out, which is super sweet, you know, because it would rather be the other way around. I feel like the student would go to the teacher and be like, hey, do you have feedback or whatever? I also don't do that. I was actually caught off guard, because the teachers were coming to me and they were like, hey, good job, you know, and I was like, oh,
thank you.
So
sweet. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's I had the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was for me it was so weird because like I actually don't want to put it like that, but I don't know how to say it because I don't want to say it in the wrong way. You know, but I don't know. I was also like, oh my god, you have like so many followers on Instagram. That sounds so weird.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But it's like it's a thing, you know. And often people in dancing get a little, you know, like once they get somewhere. So, and they were also down to earth, so grounded, and they were like, you know. And now they're like are really close friends of mine, and it's like really really cute because I'm like my level is by far not the same as their level. But I'm friends with them. Yeah. You know, and they were so open. They were all coming to me, asking me, "Oh, what are you doing here?" Whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure.
And it's like I don't know. Here, that doesn't happen.
No, I think it's just different.
It takes more time.
Yeah.
Here, and also people we have here, it's really nice. Everybody's open, loving, but it takes more time.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's our culture.
For
and
sure.
Latin America, they have a different culture.
Yeah,
America probably as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people are quicker to walk up to you and be like, hi, and da-da-da, but I also think, and that's totally fine, but I think it's very, not superficial. It's not superficial, but it's just a little...
Okay, not like...
It's not super deep, you know?
Feel it as like... But like as an authentic thing or not authentic?
No, it was authentic for sure, okay. But I don't feel like... I mean, the teachers obviously know,
to everybody.
No, not even that. But okay. I didn't feel like anyone would go into like a super deep conversation. And why would they? You know, that's fine. But that's why I feel like in Austria, once you get to a point where you actually know someone, then you talk. Like you talk about each other and whatever, and you exchange things. And it's pretty easy and it's obvious to go and say, hi, how are you? Like in general, they greet everyone with, hi, how are you? You know, that's how they greet people, which is totally cool. But it's not going to be super deep all the time. But you don't need that. That's fine. But I think that's just an observation. But yeah, teachers coming up to you, that's fun. That's very nice. And it was super sweet, you know. And then the teachers also get to know you. And they see you in class, which is also nice. Because I think oftentimes, also in Vienna, I think, or like younger dancers especially, they get frustrated when they don't get selected or they don't get picked for the video. But I think you have to realize that oftentimes this is not bound to your dancing skills. This is often also bound to you knowing the choreographer or knowing the teacher or the teacher seeing you.
It is mainly about that. Like,
yeah.
To be honest, like I know I've been asking people how they select and pick people, like people we have on the podcast, and everybody picks so differently. Yeah. And people sometimes admit, sometimes I just pick my friends to dance. And, you know, but... If you don't know that, you're like, oh, why are they picking them always?
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're friends.
Yeah.
And that's fine, you know.
Yeah.
It's also fine and nice to dance with your friends, but...
Same in LA. I feel like the people, you know, you pick other choreographers, you pick the professionals. I mean, you also want to dance with people that are good dancers, that you can rely on, that they're not going to fuck up the video, as bad as that sounds. I think that's also part of it. That you can tag easily... You know, that's all fine, but the thing is you have to realize it, because otherwise you're super frustrated, and that's then it's sad, because you're like, oh no, I'm not good enough, but that's not the truth. It's just they just didn't see you. I also know that from myself. Sometimes in class, I mean, there are 10 people there, obviously you see everyone, but if there are more people there, sometimes I also overlook someone. I'm like, hey, you did so well, but I just, you know, didn't notice in this second.
And you're so, like, I think, like... You're so focused on the people you already know sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
That you don't even see when there's somebody new that always... Because I think, like, also, like, here, we have a lot of beginners. Yeah. And the better you get, the better you know the people. Because you train more with them, obviously. You know? But, like, if you come into a scene and you don't know the people, but they're, like, still focused on the people they've been training with. Oh, that was so complicated to explain. Oh, my God. Let me put it short. You're used to the people you train with. Yeah. So you're used to seeing them. Yeah. And taking your perspective onto another person. Yeah. You need to catch their attention.
Yeah, for sure.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was the nice thing about LA, because they came to you and they were talking to you, and then if you came to their class a little more often, obviously they started to notice you, and that's super cool, because then you you also don't have to make the first step and break the ice and go to them. Because I always feel, I don't like to do that personally. I always feel like I don't want to annoy people. So I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do that. But they took that anxiety sort of away from me because they came up to me anyways, which was nice, and then you get to know them, and then, yeah, sometimes they may select you or they pick you or they're telling you did so well, and that's super sweet, that's very nice. But I also think it's fine that in Austria it's a little different. As you said, I think it's just a cultural thing. Yeah. But in LA it's nice because you're, it's the big thing, the big scene, the whatever, and you're also already scared, and then you see, oh, they're also just human. It's all just training, Yeah. So it was very nice. I actually think that the whole experience was way friendlier and nicer than you would maybe think. Yeah.
It's all about the mindset.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, of everyone though.
Yeah.
Yourself and others. Yeah.
Actually, I'm excited for the first time I go dancing abroad.
Yes.
Because there's like your opinion. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I would still love to hop on the topic finances.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Fun topic.
Let's talk about money.
Let's talk about the serious stuff.
Let's go. Because I already know living in LA is expensive.
I think so too. I don't know, but probably, yeah.
I mean, I only have the comparison Peru. I have not been in LA.
Oh, yeah.
But living in Peru is cheap compared to Austria. Obviously, it's a third world country. Like, it's different with the currency and everything. But like with food, with living, the most expensive thing is the flight there. But like I think in LA, like I don't know, like for a month, if I'm allowed to ask, how much did you pay for your flat? If I'm allowed.
No, honestly, I have no idea anymore. That's the thing. I was like, what was it again? Okay. I don't know. I definitely paid. Okay, let me put it this way. So I think expenses, it just always depends on so many things. But if you book, like if we do a checklist now for people who want to go to LA, because that would be like the plan of this. If someone hears this and wants to go, I'd be like, yay, go. But think of these things. So if you book your flight in advance and not do it beginning of June, and go beginning of July.
But it worked.
It definitely worked, but obviously it's more expensive.
Yeah,
so that's something you have to consider. If you book like early on, I think that's fine. And I think we can all look up like flight prices to LA. It's not going to be super cheap. Yeah, okay. So that's one thing. Then apartments. As I said, I was super lucky because for the first half of my trip, I had the apartment of the dancer I knew also via the program online, which was very, very nice. And I definitely, I can't remember, but I definitely paid more than you would have in a hostel or an Airbnb. But I also had the privilege of living alone in a fully,
the potatoes.
Yeah, and then, don't remind me. Yeah, that's what it is. But living alone.
You're not gonna get rid of that anymore.
I know, but it's a great story. But living alone in this apartment, which was like that's, as I said, that's a crazy lucky situation. And for the second half, I actually lived in a house, and they had multiple rooms. So there was a mom living there with her son, and she was about 70, 75, around that age. And at this point, she was actually only renting the rooms to dancers. So it was kind of like a dance house, which was cute.
Oh, cute.
Because she started out with dancers, and then they all recommended each other, and then, they all came in. And I was actually also told about this by Edith. I asked her if she has any tips, and then she told me about this house. That was very nice. That was very affordable, in comparison, and I don't know if it's still open, but I think if you find, there's more of these kind of dance house thingies, so if you find something of this, I think that's pretty cool, because you also get to connect with dancers. Like, I was able to connect with all the people in the house, which was nice, because while I was in the apartment, I was pretty alone in the sense that, once I was home, it was just me. So it all has its pros and cons, obviously, but I think expenses wise, you would need to find a shared home in some way, because otherwise it's pretty expensive. yeah, and then you need to think of, like grocery stuff, obviously. Transportation, that's a hard one because you have to be a certain age to rent a car, if you even have like a driver's permit. So I drove around with Lime, I drove around with Uber, which I think for a month is fine, because renting a car is hella expensive, but it would be the more comfortable choice. Depends. I think if you're there with someone, that would be an option if you're not alone. And if you know someone, they could obviously take you around as well. So I also had, once I knew the girls from the program, they sometimes drove me home, which was very nice. So I didn't have to drive Lime or bike. I also had a bike the last 2 weeks. Yeah, they had a bike. That was cute. Yeah, but that's possible. As I said, playground is a little further away, but if you live in North Hollywood, I don't know where Movement Lifestyle is. I would have needed to Google that before. But all these other studios are kind of in the same area, so that's fine. And you could walk, depends on how wild you want to be. Yeah,
as wild as you.
Yeah, but you also have to, like, for expenses, you also really have to think about transport, because obviously Lime and Uber is also, it gets expensive at some point. And then classes, that's like the most important part actually. I would say they're not super expensive. I think they cost about $22, but if you buy a package of 10 or 5 or
90 minutes.
Yes, 90 minutes, most of them, but I think all of them actually. But if you buy those packages of 5, 10, whatever, it obviously gets cheaper, same as in Austria. And that's actually feasible. I feel like there are dance classes in Europe that are more expensive. So that's fine. But obviously also something to calculate, Yeah, and then if you want to do something like a program, that's add-on money, obviously, but I also think that driving there or like going there to train and just taking open classes is also very nice, because they have classes starting from 12 or 11 a.m. So you could basically train all day,
That is another thing that I'm actually really missing in Austria.
Yeah.
We can start dancing 5:30.
Oh yeah, you're right. I have class at 5:30.
Yeah, but that's like the earliest thing you can do. Like,
yeah.
And the more like intermediate advanced classes are like most of the time even later, and that's something that I really miss in Austria.
Yeah, but that's something, I mean, a big difference between the two for sure, that in LA there's just a lot more of people who want to do that professionally, and who, they may have a job, like a side hustle or whatever, but they make the time to train because they also want to work in that industry, so it's just a little different. I feel like we have to consider that in Austria, most people who dance are doing it for the fun of it, or at least they don't want to build a main profession with it. And I think that's a big difference, because in LA you can feel and see that the people want to work in the industry, and that that's all they do at some point. Like one of the teachers, I saw his Instagram while I was in LA as well, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to the gym now and that, and that's the first time I realized dancers in anywhere else but Austria, dancers in Austria also go to the gym, but for me, I was like, I would never be able, with the schedule I have teaching in Vienna, I would never, my body would never be able to also endure training in the gym every 2 days.
I totally get that, because I felt the same, because I think like here, because you can only train in the evening, yeah, you can train 3-4 hours in the evening, but 3-4 hours in one, is not for the body. Because in Peru I took like 4 classes a day, and I was fine, my muscles were completely fine like the weeks.
Wow. Yeah.
So, but it's like you have a break in between.
Yeah.
You have breaks, you have like, and I don't know, I feel the same in Austria. I don't know, it feels much more heavier in my muscles kind of. Though I take less, or like I have the possibility I have for taking classes is smaller.
It's a little more limited. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I also wouldn't have the time to take classes at 12 p.m.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, because that's how our society
Yeah.
works here.
Yeah.
that's again a cultural thing. Maybe.
Yeah,
or like
sure.
it's not a cultural like obviously they like in America, Peru, they also have like noble jobs probably to do.
Yeah.
But like they have like, and we're back to that topic. We're lacking a lot of hunger here in Austria. Like how actually did say that Christina? I think it was her.
I have no idea.
I think it was her. Yeah. Guys, you already know it, like the hunger we're lacking here in Austria.
What?
The hunger, you know? Like
oh,
okay, to get more
mm-hmm,
training, to get like knowledge, to want more out of dance and not just like staying chill, having a little fun, but really wanting to be better, to get better. And even though if you just do it as a hobby, you know, a lot of people in Peru also just do it as a hobby, but they still are really hungry to get better and to become better. And I think like in Austria, people are faster like, oh, I'm just fine. I'm chilling. It's okay. I have fun. You know, that's like it's a different of how our scene works. Again, our scene is much smaller.
Yeah.
So obviously, the amount of people who really want to do it professionally is also less than somewhere else where the scene is bigger. So
I don't even think it's less. I just think people don't even get to the point where they think of that, or they would be like, okay, no, I'm not gonna try. Which I understand because there's barely room, you know, there's barely jobs, and I get the hunger thing, but I would more agree with it being like not even a cultural but like a societal thing, because I mean dancers in LA are probably still, they don't get paid enough and whatever, you know, that's probably still the same in a way, but I feel like tolerance for dancing in Austria or maybe even in Europe, it's not a thing. Like I still remember like doing all my schoolwork, doing all of those things, and dance was always the side thing, you know. I had to go train from 6 to 10 after school. I'd run to the studio and train because I wanted to and I really wanted to learn, but tolerance for that is just so low. And I still I still remember my mom picking me up from dance class every night. Like she would drive with the car from the outer districts of Vienna to the 7th district to pick me up from studio and, you know, bring me home at 10:30, and I had to be in school at 8, and I was like, oh, but that, I mean, that's what you do if you want to do it, that's fine. And that was also commitment of my parents or my mom in that case, because I mean she could have also been like, no, you're
my parents would have been like that.
Yeah, exactly. You just come home at 8, which is reasonable. I get that. That was just a lot of tolerance from their side. They were like, hey, you love to do this, so obviously I'm gonna pick you up, whatever. But I don't know. It's never a main thing. People in the US start to train at 3-5 years of age, and they go to school where it's super pushed that they dance or whatever. That's not a thing here. I was punished in a way in school for going to competition. Like they wouldn't let us go. So our parents had to pick us up from our Sportwoche and bring us to Croatia to compete because they were like, no, we're not going to let you not go and take the Sportwochen trip. Which was useless, but they just, you know, they didn't care. We were like, okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But that's, I don't know, but that's also a thing in LA. Obviously, they all work and they all, they have a little bit more possibilities in LA specifically.
I mean, yeah, compared to Austria.
Yeah, so
yes.
I get why they're hungry. And I also get why people in Austria or wherever sometimes may not be as hungry, to put it that way. No, but it's just, I don't know.
But the thing is, I think in Austria, like, most of the people don't even know what is out there. And because of that, you also have, like...
They're, like, in their comfort zone.
Yeah, and
maybe also.
But
everyone is, right?
Yeah, but it's hard. To some, I feel like it's hard to, like,
but if you don't even know what's out there, why should you reach for it if you don't know what is existing there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's not like a main job, you know, here in Austria. It's not a thing. Most of the people, I mean, like, also my family's like, oh, you can make money with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. If you do it right, you can make money out of everything if you sell it to people. Like, you know, that's like how our society works. You can sell shit and people are gonna buy it, but that's a different topic. But it's just, you need to know how to do it. And if you don't even have, like, any kind of idea that this job is out there, how would you know, how would you get there to think about becoming that, you know? And we don't see it here in our everyday life.
No, obviously.
Like in LA, being an artist is like, you know, this picture of the struggling artist is like a thing they have.
Yeah, for sure.
Here in Austria, no.
No, because but because that's not even a possibility. No one's gonna tell you, hey, you could also be an artist. Like that's not. I don't know. I've been self-employed for a little while now, not that long, but I also never thought that would be my thing. And I'm someone, and I think, I don't know, but with LA as well, I'm someone that loves to plan. Like I'm gonna plan everything if I can. But no one ever told me, hey, you could do this. And then obviously someone told me, like one of my friends, she was the main reason why I actually started to think about self-employment, because she was like, hey, you can do this and you should do this, and that's also a thing to think about. But she was like one of the only ones.
I need to jump in.
Please.
Like all the time. No, I just want to ask like a really basic question. Maybe should have asked at the beginning. Is it your main job? Are you like main job-ish self-employed?
Main job-ish? Main job-ish? No, that's the one. That's why, yeah.
No, but like, I have no idea, because often I think you can't tell you, because, you know, everybody's Instagram looks great, but often you can't tell who does do it as a main job.
Yeah.
And who just does it as like side thingy.
True.
And sometimes you don't know, because
that's true.
You don't know.
Yeah. Well,
because you teach a lot. I've seen you have like 5 classes a week.
I teach a lot. 5 days of teaching. It's more than the class. Yeah. A lot of classes. A lot of classes. Yes. Well, I mean, I still study in theory. I mean, I actually do still study, but I only have my thesis to complete. So once I have my master's, I would not study anymore, and then this would be my main job. But as I said, since I'm also venturing a little more into hosting or speaking or whatever, that was also a reason why I did this voice actress education, because I felt like or feel like it's important to have more than one leg to stand on. I don't know, yeah. But yeah, I don't even think it's a plan B, but I don't know, I think I had to say goodbye of the idea that you work one job and you work this job for like 40 years and then you're
Who
retiring.
does that anymore
Yeah,
today?
But that's the thing. Like, that's how my family also sort of showed me, because they all had a job and they worked in the same, even in the same company for 40 years, you know, which is so cute and so nice. Yeah. And I think it was very prone to also think that I was going to be that person. But with dance, that's just not a possibility. So now I'm like, okay, I could go teach in the evening and host an event at lunch and maybe, I don't know, train or teach a private in the morning. And, you know, that's a fun day, you know, that's nice.
But that's a long
That's
long
also long,
day.
exactly. But I think being a dancer, being an artist, being whatever, you also have to say goodbye to this 9-to-5 idea that we're living in Austria. And that's also, this is where training comes in. That's also why we don't have trainings at 12 midday lunchtime, because most people are just not doing that. And I get it, because it's not easy. And obviously that's also a reason I teach so much, because that's a main thing to do when you work as a dancer, choreographer, trainer in Austria, because you're not gonna live or like pay your rent by working as a dancer only. That's just not a thing. But I think we all, like, that's obvious, we all know that. But in theory, this is my main job. Yes. But honestly, I mean, you see it now, it also it doesn't give me anxiety, that's not the right word, but I remember telling a lot of people, I'm a student, and then telling them I'm a dancer. But now I'm like, okay, I'm going to say it the other way around, because I want people to know. And then they all ask, is this your main job? What do you do with this? How do you earn money? And I'm like, it's just a job. You know, it's the same for everyone. But obviously, and then like, what kind of dance? We all know the questions, I feel like. If you're telling someone, hey, I'm dancing.
And then goes, Do something cool. Show me something.
Oh my god, yeah. That's also
one.
a fun one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But yes, in theory, this would be my main job, or it is my main job for now. I also think it's important to notice or say that it doesn't have to be your main job forever. I feel like people are a lot of times very scared to do something because they feel like their decision is final, but it's not. And if I don't want to be doing what I'm doing now in 5 years, then I'm gonna go back to employment probably, you know, which is cool. It's fine. It's cute. And if I work in a corporate office in 5 years, you know, sweet, cool. But at least I tried, or at least I did what I wanted. I think that's important. That's also important for LA. So I feel like if you want to go, nothing should stop you. Yeah. I mean, finances is a different thing. Expenses is also a different thing, obviously. It's a very privileged thing to just go to LA and be like, hey, I'm going to travel for a month to train. But if you can afford it and if you actually want to go, I think nothing anxiety or social anxiety wise should stop you and be like, no, I'd rather not. Yeah.
Do you have something you want to put out there?
That's so hard. I think actually the things I said before at the end before wrapping up is something that I would like to share. Like, don't let yourself be stopped by anyone. Whether you want to go to LA, whether you want to be a dancer, whether you want to, I don't know, get into teaching, or just even go to a dance class, honestly. Maybe someone's listening who's never been to a dance class and would love to go, but just isn't there yet. I think you should. I think you just should get out of that comfort zone, even if it's scary, honestly. Also for me, going to LA was very, very scary, and I'm happy I get to talk about it, actually, because I know that I would have loved to have a podcast that would tell me a little more about these things, and also would just tell me that it's fine and that I could go, you know, without being anxious about parking.
So this is your sign.
Yeah.
If you were searching for a sign,
yes.
This is your sign to go.
For sure. This is definitely your sign. Or wherever you want it. Or if it's London, or if whatever it is, whatever program. And also remember that this, honestly, the anxiety also never stops. Like, I just signed up for a new program in Amsterdam, and I was like, I wanted to go for so long, and I'm still, you know, a part of me is still scared, and a part of me still thinks, gonna be tough. Gonna be a challenge.
Too, actually.
Yeah,
me too.
but that never stops. And then people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, I don't know. I talk to someone and they're like, oh, I always forget choreo. I'm like, hey, that's normal. I also do all the time. I have a video on my Instagram now where I've black out for 2 seconds and then I'm back into it. You know, but that happens and that never ever stops. Even if you look up to a person with like 1 million followers, they probably fuck up from time to time. And they're probably also scared from time to time. And I think that's fine and that's normal. And you should always remember that. Yeah, I think that's pretty important, honestly. Because we forget a lot of times. I also forget all the time. I'm like, everyone's perfect and I'm scared. It's like,
nobody's perfect.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah.
Sometimes you like have to rethink that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's also fine to take your time. Yeah. I think it was fine for me to go at 23 and not 18.
Yeah, you don't need to rush.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And you also, you don't have to, as we had like, who were we talking to? And with Sarah and Julia, they also had, like, we were talking about LA also, and they had the chance to stay in LA. They said no to LA. You don't have to be in LA if you don't want to be in LA, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You can do whatever you want to, but just, this is your sign to go and do it, you know?
Exactly, yeah. But to also not do it if you do not want to.
Yeah.
And if I would have left LA and would have been like, oof, that actually sucked. Well, then it sucked, you know?
But you tried, you went there.
Yeah, exactly. I realized the dream, you know, which was the goal all along. Finally go.
Yeah.
And if it sucks, then it sucks. And you don't have to go there again. Never again.
And you're only gonna know, like, once you have the opportunity.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
if it's really your dream, because, you know, like, dreaming about something is one thing, but once it's in front of you.
Yeah.
And you have the decision on, am I gonna take it or not? Then you're gonna realize if it was really meant to be for you.
Yes.
Mom. So poetic.
Oh,
cute.
Do you
so
this
cute.
one. They taught this one at the Afro Intensive. I think it was from Brazil.
That's a new heart.
That's a new one, guys. We have a new heart to use.
Not that thing anymore, right?
No, that's my thing.
Oh, you also.
That's my thing.
I always did this one with the clicking.
With the clicking. Oh,
yeah,
I don't
that's
have
why. Yeah, no, but that's why. It's the clicking is the thing.
You have like the ASMR.
Thanks.
Okay, nice. Then thank you for being here today.
Thank you guys. This was fun. Very cute.
Where?
Alright. We decided
it's
to make
over,
some.
you know. They were like, okay, you talk too
They
much.
knew it.
My neighbors just decided we're done, guys. I'm sorry. I hope you don't hear that, but
yeah.
Otherwise, we'll cut it out.
Where can people find you? Where can people contact you?
I think Instagram is the place to be. The place to go.
Place to contact the place to be.
It's down below in wherever you hear this.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
Yeah. You also now know my real name. It's not Fia, but you know. Yeah.
Nice. And thank you guys for listening to this episode. If you wanna support us, then you can leave a donation at GoFundMe link. You can find it on Instagram in our link tree. And
give us a 5-star recommendation everywhere. You would love to share this episode with your family, friends, with the dog of your neighbor.
Even if they're not a dancer, maybe the
Yeah.
And yes, then thank you for listening, and we see or hear.
Actually, I think that's gonna be like our first episode in the new year, guys.
Wow. Right!
We wish you a happy new year.
Wow. That's even more special now. Wow. 2024.
I don't realize it. 2023. 4.
Okay, I'm done with my English. I think we need to.
Yeah, me too.
This is the sign.
2024.
Yes.
Then not and the next sign we have. Okay, guys. We hope you had an amazing start to this year.
And hear you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.